Hey guys, Bix Weir here. It is Sunday, the 19th of March. Just getting ready for the new storm coming in next week. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today it's all about Bitcoin and gold and something I'm calling the morality premium. Had a lot of discussions with friends and not so friendly people about about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies and silver and gold. Where are we? What's going on? How are we going to figure this out? Same old controversies and talking points that we've been discussing for 15 years in silver and gold. Bitcoin is new. A lot of people are new to Bitcoin. They don't understand why the price is going up. They don't understand why the price is going down. Bitcoin, if you've been in long enough, it's just another one of those ebbs and flows of the tide and another wave that's moving through the community. Yes, Bitcoin has gone down 30% in the last few days, and yes, Bitcoin went up 30% the month prior to that. Is it a big deal? Not really. It will all work itself out. The arguments that are going on are about really about what the participants in Bitcoin want Bitcoin to be in the future. The core developers are developing a fix to the scalability problem using SegWit. It's very complicated. But what it does do, which I do not like, is it takes away one of the main functions that Satoshi Nakamoto had envisioned for Bitcoin, and that's a means of exchange. It would make the fees way too high and the timing much too long for it to be a viable use as currency if our monetary system breaks down, and that's a bad thing. Bitcoin was built and conceived of by Satoshi for that very purpose, not as a store of wealth, not as a reason people can get rich because they're smarter than everybody else, but as a means of exchange to help us along through this process of removing the unbacked fiat monetary system and moving on to something else. It just pisses me off to no end when I hear the people who support the Bitcoin core developers saying, "Well, Satoshi wasn't that smart. Now we have 100 of the best computer scientists working on this, and this is the real reason that Bitcoin's so great, and we need to get the big money in and the developers in, and people need to be taken care of." No. If they're so smart, why didn't they go invent their own cryptocurrency? Many people have done it. If you're so brilliant, move on. Move away from Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is an amazing invention for humanity, not for your pocketbook. It's a means of exchange that everyday people can use if the speed is fast enough and the cost of every transaction is low enough such that they can use it. And in appraising, I used to be an appraiser back in the day. I'd appraise big mining equipment and things like that. We had a theory called highest and best use, that an asset was always valued in its highest and best use. And there's no doubt in my mind that the highest and best use of Bitcoin is not as an investment, is not as a moneymaker. It is as a use, as a currency for everyday transactions for humanity when the system falls apart that we're currently living in. If you've followed the banking system long enough, if you've followed gold and silver long enough, that's the big thing we've all been waiting for, the crash of the unbacked, immoral system. And that gets me to another thing. Something I just termed the phrase today is the morality premium for investment. And it's an important thought in that when this system crashes, when the banks go down, there'll be a lot of anger towards the banks. People asking, well, why did I lose my 401k? This was guaranteed by the government. And why did my bank take my money and go gamble it in other places? And look at all the fraud that was going on. So people will be standing up and saying, hey, it wasn't right what they did, and they shouldn't profit from it. JP Morgan should not profit from their 600 million ounces of physical silver when they've been the one who's shorting the market with the electronic silver shorts on the comics. So in the end, there will be a morality premium put on things that are more moral than other types of investment. And it should be. The people should jump up and down and scream about Bitcoin if Bitcoin is just in the hands of a few rich people and did not fulfill its promise to its creator of being a means of exchange and a tool, a utility for humanity to move forward. I do think it'll get there. I don't think the SegWit idea is going to go through because it would screw up all of what Bitcoin means. And there is, I believe, there are people behind the scenes who will make sure that Bitcoin isn't screwed up too much. As you know, Satoshi has not talked to humanity in a while. Actually, he came out when they were saying that guy Darian Nakamoto was Satoshi. And then Satoshi came out and said, no, it's not that guy. Obviously, it could have been him. He could have been throwing people off saying, no, it's not me. But I don't think so. I think that guy Dorian Nakamoto was probably involved in some way. I think a few people were involved in it. I know the U.S. government has been involved in it from the very beginning. Now the Chinese government is taking a huge role. And these gigantic mining farms that are Bitcoin mining farms that are going into China, I think have the full support of the Chinese government. I do think they have big plans for Bitcoin for their citizens, for 1.3 billion people who live in China. They're going to need a means of exchange when the Western banking system falls apart. And what a great thing to introduce to their citizens, the Bitcoin. You know, everybody who has a cell phone can use it, and those of you who don't have a cell phone, here's a government-issued cell phone with a Bitcoin, maybe even a Bitcoin miner on that cell phone, which is possible. So yeah, very, very big plans behind the scenes. I think the debate, the ongoing discussions and fights are just they're fights about people who really have no power in this ultimate decision. Should Satoshi come out with an email today saying, everybody, do this. Here's a program to fix the scalability issue. 100% will go towards that. But the computer programmers who are working for Bitcoin Core are saying, oh, Satoshi didn't know what he was doing. That's ridiculous. Give me a break. It was a brilliant, unprecedented idea and concept, and he didn't stop being smart. He taken a back seat for a while. And if he needs to come out of hiding, I'm sure he will in a blink of an eye to shut down anything he thinks will set aside his original intent to get this tool in the hands of the people at the right time. And I believe the right time is coming, and there won't be time for SegWit. There probably won't even be time for Bitcoin Unlimited. It will probably be another type of solution because we are having problems with the banking system. When Europe goes, the rest of the system goes. So it's one of those things, and it will get down to the morality of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as what SegWit wants is the Bitcoin in the hands of the rich investors and the people who will control it, and it'll be great for their investment. But will the people allow that? Yes. China can shut down Bitcoin by shutting down all the miners because they have most of the mining technology. Would it start up again somewhere else? Sure, but it'll put you back 10, 20 years because the people won't stand for something like that. Now, if Bitcoin was a tool put in the hands of the people to use, like Roger Ver is saying, I agree with him 100%. Bitcoin can be that tool. It just has to be cheap and it has to be fast. And SegWit does not do that. It will not do that. It was not designed to do that. Bitcoin Unlimited will, but you're going to have to fork the blockchain, which everybody's scared about, even though Ethereum just went through it and, a little bit of a hiccup, and then it's just fine and dandy now. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are going to be happening to change this argument and change the discussion, which I think is good. I think ultimately the people need Bitcoin in their hands for this upcoming transition. And Bitcoin has to be looked at as a very moral option because there'll be so much anger at the bankers for doing what they have done, screwing up our world and messing up our ability to transact anything on any basis. And it almost happened in 2008. Hank Paulson came in to Congress and said, give us $700 billion or the world will implode. This time it'll be Steve Mnuchin, lovely Steve Mnuchin, the computer rigger from Goldman Sachs, who goes to Congress and says, "Oh, by the way, we don't need $700 billion. We need $20 trillion to keep the system going. And by the way, we need $150 quadrillion to bail out the derivatives because that's in the Dodd-Frank Act now. And Congress, before you allocate any money to the FDIC, they have to pay out the derivatives, basically guaranteeing that there will be no bank bailout, which is a great thing. 2 thumbs up for that law. So yeah, I think the Bitcoin controversy won't be a controversy after the banks start going, because there'll be either a new way of thinking about it, or the moral outrage will just kick in and destroy Bitcoin if SegWit wins and Bitcoin is not usable by the people on day one, because the bankers will obviously come in with their solution, and if there's no other better solution, they'd probably turn to the bankers again, and Bitcoin is a way around that. So that's my take on the current dilemma, and I think the upcoming, I'd say it's a moral premium for the Bitcoin Unlimited solution that puts Bitcoin in the hands of the people. As far as the other cryptos, I'll do another video today on what I think is going on with the other cryptos and whether or not it's in a bubble or it's a real deal. Anyway, this is Bix Weir. Go to roadtoruta.com, sign up for a free email, and you get a free book. And look for the next video today. It'll be coming out in a couple hours. Thanks. Bye.